folks, to Homemaking with Mima. If you're new here, my name is Wendy. I have a lot going on today, but in today's video, you can see I've got so much stuff back here, and I'm canning, so I really have a lot on my plate. Today's video, it's going to be the start of just a very tiny little mini series, just teeny tiny, maybe just a few meals, and that's it. But what I'm calling it is Frugal Meals, Home Economics Brought Back. Now, it's not Home Economics 100% brought back, but that's what I'm calling it. And you'll see in here, I've got it, I have to have my calendar with me because this was something that just came up. And I wrote it down and I need help remembering it. So I'm going to have a few meals on this video, and then I want to get it popped out there real quick. And then I'm going to have a few more meals on another video, and it'll be before that November is over with. Hopefully this nightmare with our government situation is totally over with. Then there can be some kind of normalcy for all of us. But it is a lesson learned. I would hope that everyone who's had to deal with the situations at hand has learned a lesson, and a lesson that is an educational lesson that you're going to take forward and take it with stride. Okay, instead of going to Walmart and purchasing meat when I've already got meat in the house, because I'm trying to watch my pennies as well, you know, not just everyone out there, but my family, I and my family are too. So I'm going to compare this to chuck roast that is at Walmart. I'll see if I can kind of find the same kind of size as far as the dimensions and that. Mine is still partially frozen, so I tried to weigh it and it wasn't giving an accurate weight. So, and that's just kind of, that won't give a good weight. So I do have bone. I have bone here and I have bone here, and it goes through. So here's partially the bone here too, and then here's that bone. So this isn't all meat. I'm paying for the bone as well. So just remember that. It's trimmed up real well as far as the fat. But however, when you are cooking with extra fat and bone in meat as well, that adds flavor. So we'll see if I can get 2 meals out of this, because, you know, I'm feeding my husband and I'm feeding my daughter, whom has to have an increase on her protein. So she might take extra meat and not take any mashed potatoes, you know, that sort of thing. Because I am going to be having mashed potatoes and such with this today. So, all right, I'm going to get this in the crock pot. That's how I'm cooking it, because I have a busy day today. So it's going to be in the crock pot. It goes. So I'm at Walmart and I'm walking around looking at the prices of the chuck pot roasts. That one was $19.21, and then I browsed down just a little bit further and I find a few more that were $19. $18.77 was that one. So yeah, I did kind of go in and I looked to see what the prices of the beef was, so that I could use that as my numbers. With our roast that we're having tonight, I took out some of my freezer mashed potatoes and I'm going to get them going. I can do these in the microwave, bring them back to life. I will insert the video of me making the freezer mashed potatoes in the description box below. A 5-pound, I'm going to be putting in a 5-pound description of fresh potatoes, 5-pound bag of potatoes. And if you cook it up, you split it up, and I made my mashed potatoes, I can get 2 of these out of a 5-pound. Out of a 10-pound, I can get 3 of them, filling them up to about here, maybe just a smidgen more. So, and that's enough for my family. And with dinner tonight as well, we're going to have gravy. I decided to mix some chicken and brown gravy together. I do that often. It's just going to make it a little bit more creamier, make it creamier looking. It won't be creamy. And I'm going to have Walmart green beans. And right now they're on rollback for 50 cents because of the holiday season that's up. I also went to Walmart and I did some investigating, some research. I couldn't find a roast that had a bone-in chuck roast. There was not one there, so I had to do it with a boneless one. So there was more meat on the Walmart one than there is on mine. But just I had to get some kind of a pricing because I'm using the beef that we purchased from local farmer and had it, and it was butchered. That cost more than what the prices of meat in the grocery stores cost. Okay, and I'm going to act as if I've gone to Walmart and got everything. I mean, I have gotten all this. It's just our meat that we purchase, a quarter cow and a half a pig. And that's more economical for our family, and it's what we choose to do. Not everybody can do it. But if you want to stock up on meat and that when it's on sale, please do that. That is frugal. That is being frugal. That is home economics 101. Shop clearance, shop sales, all of that. All right, enough rambling on. I'm going to get this going. Just some good practice to do. Wipe the cans off because you don't know how long they sat in warehouse before they were shipped to the stores before you purchased them. So wipe them off. It's just good practice. All right, now I'm going to get the beans in there, and then I'm going to make my gravy here in this pan on the stove and put that in that crock pot as well. I'll show you the crock pot here. I'm going to have my gravy, my green beans in that, and my roast is in this crock pot, and I'm doing my mashed potatoes. They're in the microwave right now, so that's where they're at. I normally put my crock pot over there, but I have my canner over there, so that's not happening today. I've got to make do with what I have. Gravy packets, they give instructions on the back if you've never made them before. Follow the instructions on the pack. Okay, I've got the mashed potatoes back into a mashed potato consistency. If you watch my video, you know what I'm talking about. It's in the description box below. So that is done. Dinner isn't quite yet. I'm still working. The family's not home quite yet. But I've got the gravy and the green beans are going to be in the crock pot, and the mashed potatoes I can reheat in the microwave. But I'm getting this going so that I can get all my extra dishes done up for today. So the gravy is done. It's to the consistency that I like, and it's going to keep staying warm in the crock pot. So I'm going to get it into the sleeve, and here's a good tip. Hopefully you can see this. When you pour it into anything, make sure you have a spoon or you use your whisk. Then it's not going to splatter all over the place. It's a good tip, good cooking tip. All right, I am going to. Thought I needed my whisk, but I didn't. Get this, put it on low. All right, everything's on low. I'm gonna cover these mashed potatoes, and I'll bring you back when we're ready to dish up. Okay, so in between the meals that I'm going to share in this video, we're gonna go over a few things. Trying to be frugal, not just with your cooking, but with running your home. That's part of home economics as well. Do you see this light on here? I'm not going to be in here. I don't need it on anymore. And so I'm going to shut this light off. So that's off. Same with this light here. As soon as I leave the kitchen here, I'm going to shut those lights off there. But anyway, here we go. I'm going in the refrigerator. This does have to do with, I don't know, it's really not food. It's water. I filter our own water. We don't buy, okay, here's a water bottle. My husband had gotten it at work. It's not open, so he brought it home. He's going to be drinking it another time. We just don't buy water bottles for at home here. Now, if we're traveling, yeah, it's probably best that we get a water bottle, especially if it's going to be overnight. But I get the Tupperware ones I had purchased through someone who had a Tupperware, party, how they've had those. But all these other ones, I've gotten at the thrift store. The pitcher is old. It's an old Walmart pitcher, but you can get pitchers at thrift stores as well and have pre-filtered water in it. That's what's in that one right there. And here we're drinking up the summertime Lipton tea, the summertime stuff. And so there's that. I'm going to force that onto my family. And there I am. I can't save it over the summer or over the winter. So I'm forcing my family, we're going to drink it. It's going to be going with supper tonight. Okay. So there's just a couple ideas right there. And here we are. I don't need to be in here anymore. So that light's going off. And excuse my mess. Your thermostat. It might just, okay. I shut mine off this morning. The temperature outside is, I want to say like 40 something. Let me go peek quick. Okay, it actually said it was 52. When I'm home alone, I don't need the furnace on. Even when it's like 37 degrees, I don't need it on. If it's freezing out, then it's best for me to leave it on. But I keep it down really low. So wherever you live, be frugal with your thermostat as far as in the wintertime with your heat and in the summertime with your air conditioning. I'm not going to give you suggested numbers. That you're going to have to figure out for yourself. But be frugal with this as well. Okay, so I've got everything's in the crock pots here. There's the green beans, the gravy. Just waiting for my family to come home. The roast is done. I just covered it. Hopefully it doesn't get dried out. It was kind of small. And I have the mashed potatoes in the microwave to heat up. So I'm ready. Just waiting for my family. You can never go wrong with this kind of a meal, ever. It was absolutely wonderful. Okay, it is the next day. We do not have any of the roast beef left over. This is the leftover mashed potatoes and a little bit of gravy that I put with it, but that's all the mashed potatoes that we had left. And this is the gravy right here. So just a little bit. I do have the bones and the drippings. Okay. So what I did and what my thought is not everyone has canned beef. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to assume that I had leftover roast beef, even though I didn't. It was a small roast. And like I had said, my daughter has to eat increased protein. And yeah. So what I'm going to do is I have in my cupboard, this is from last year, I have barley. So what I'm going to do is I grabbed one of my pint jars. Let's say that this is how much leftover roast beef that I had left. Okay, I'll cut it up into cubes or shred it. Okay, we're going to pretend, okay, because I want to try to make this stretch. I have the leftover bones and I have the broth. I'm going to make more broth, more beef broth. And I have some chopped up onion, some carrots, and some celery to help with that beef broth. And I'm going to make beef and barley stew with this. Okay, I'm going to create this. Here I am, I'm being economical. I'm using what I have on hand. And like I said, let's just pretend I have this much leftover roast beef. We're going to make it stretch, and I'm going to make it into beef and barley soup. And I'm not going to use my pressure, my Instapot, because not everyone has that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my, I'm going to make this beef broth in my larger crock pot. Okay, so there's that. This is just going to be eaten as part of a lunch. So that'll go in the refrigerator. So that is my thoughts on that. It isn't going to be today's meal. Today's meal, I have a different idea. I have this leftover taco meat. So now I'm going to bring you over to the table and give you my thoughts on this. So I have this leftover taco meat, which I'm spilling out of here. Okay, I have leftover Tostito chips. These in here need to get eaten up. I just brought the bag up so that you could, you know, get an idea of what they were. I am going to make taco soup with what I have on hand. Okay, so I've got my taco meat. I have some beef broth. Let's say you have some beef broth downstairs that you purchased, you know, in like your Walmart container. I'm going to use my homegrown. You have some salsa on your shelves or in your refrigerator, okay? You have taco seasoning. That's extra taco seasoning. The meat's already flavored. You have tomato sauce, and you have petite diced tomatoes. Now, the salsa already has some tomatoes in it, but the salsa actually has the diced green peppers in that, and onion. I would put rotel in here. I don't have any rotel. And like I said, I'm going to use what I have on hand. And I have salsa. So, you know, this is what I'm going to make. I'm going to make a taco soup. Now, I'm showing you all this because this is just me. I'm not going to use any of this because I will show you. I'm going to use the meat. I'm going to push this aside. I have... Oh, and you can put black beans in there too. You can, if you have black beans, if you have pinto beans, any kind of beans you have, put it in there as well. I have canned pinto beans. These are ones that need to get used up first. So I'm going to use just a portion of these for my husband and I. I have taco soup already canned up. All right, not everybody has taco soup canned up on their shelves, okay? That I so know. That's why I brought all of this into play. Because you can make your own just with that. If you have beans, add it in. If you don't add it in. Or if you have people that don't like beans, don't add it in. Now my taco soup base, this is my last jar of, I do have some beans in here. So I'm going to make this stretch even further. I'm going to add the meat. Okay, I'm going to slide this over. I'm going to use some more beef broth and probably some more seasoning. And this is what I'm going to make my taco soup out. And this is what we're having for today. All right. We're going to have taco soup, and we're going to use up the chips, and we're going to use up the meat. So now I have our supper in the little mini crock pots. My husband and I's and my daughter's. The added black beans are in the front one. So that is going to be our supper for tonight, taco soup. I apologize. I did not get a finished bowl of the taco soup last night. We were all just hungry and I totally forgot. I've got 2 of these size bowls for leftovers, and tonight is going to be a leftover night. We do have a few leftovers in the refrigerator, so this will probably be gone. Now I'm going to get this stock going, and then I'll just have it in my refrigerators for when I'm ready to make the beef and barley stew. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the fat cap off from yesterday's roast. So I don't want all that fat in there, because this is just going to be a small amount of stock. So yeah, I don't want all of that in there. Okay, so I'm going to get this in here. The bone scraps, everything's already cooked, but to make a good stock broth, it's best to use roasted. Well, this is cooked. It's it's already cooked. All right, so there's that. Some onion. Because this is chopped a little fine, I'm just gonna put in probably not even half of that. I'm gonna strain all this before we actually use it to eat with. Throw in a few celery, some carrot. All right, let me get some of this cleaned up and I'll finish up. I'm gonna take the broth out of this, put that in there as well for my stock. So here's that meat that I'm going to be using as my leftover roast beef. Not much, but we're going to make it stretch, okay? So I'm going to put the leftover gravy, because I'll be putting that in there as well, and the beef chunks in the refrigerator. Here's that stock. So now we're going to, I'll zoom you in here a little bit more. All right, I am going to see how much that is, because this crock pot, it's black, so I can't really see. You know what? That's going to be enough. So now I'm going to let this cook. I'm going to put some salt and pepper in here. And this is going to be cooking all day long. And I'm going to use the broth from this to make my beef and barley soup. Okay, so here's going to be the cost for this roast beef dinner. I put down the number of $18.03 for that size roast. A 5-pound bag of russet potatoes is $22.47. Divide that in half, it's $1.24. Greater value gravy mixes, the browned and the chicken, are two different prices, but if you add the two of them together, it comes to $1.06. And the greater value green beans, the canned, are 50 cents. And that, again, totaled $20.83. And for the next meal that we had, I had leftover taco meat, so I created a taco soup. I did give explanation in the video in regards that I actually used my canned taco soup base, but I did pull aside and I showed you the 14.5 ounce diced tomatoes, 15 ounce size can of tomato sauce, taco seasoning. Those were all greater value. I only used like maybe half or about half of the taco seasoning. So it's actually 24 cents instead of 47. The total for that was $2.16. Now for the Tostito chips, we had some left over. We were using leftovers. But if you were to buy them at Walmart, they're $1.97. So that's the breakdown for that. If I was going to make that day out of everything that I had on hand, and I'm using up leftovers as well, it would have cost me only $2.16. That is being frugal. Okay, I'm going to end this video on a simple note. You can find great cookbooks at thrift stores. I know I've mentioned it multiple times. And they're like brand new. I mean, I don't think anyone ever really used this one, okay? But I have. So, yes, hit your thrift stores for cookware, dishware, books, clothing, okay? They're there for a reason. They're there to get secondhand love. All right, I want to thank you folks so much for joining me in this little tiny mini series. I'm telling you, I'll probably have one more after this one, and that's going to be it. I'm not going to dwell on this at all. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up, and I want you folks to make it a great day.